In a quiet corner of Southeast Asia, bordering Thailand, Vietnam and Laos, is a small country of Cambodia. Between 1975 and 1979, the Khmer Rouge, a communist political party in Cambodia, refused to compromise their extreme beliefs. Throughout the turbulent 4 years, their violent actions led to families being torn apart, people being forced into hard labour, and ultimately 1.7 million deaths. The Cambodian people, through the use of books, movies, museums and court cases to try the perpetrators, made important and significant compromises with their past to create a peaceful path forward. In the mid-1960s, due to the escalated Vietnam War, the North Vietnamese sought refuge in the bordering regions of Cambodia. They set up the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a supply line running from North Vietnam through Laos and Cambodia to South Vietnam. At the time, the Khmer Rouge, then a relatively insignificant communist group, set up insurgency bases in northeast Cambodia. With backing from the North Vietnamese and China, the movement grew in strength. In early 1969, the North Vietnamese launched the Mini-Tet Offensive. This was a series of attacks launched from within Cambodia on US-supported South Vietnam. As a result, Richard Nixon, who was the US president, authorized Operation Menu, which led to over 108,000 tons of bombs to be dropped on Cambodia. Nixon's goal was to drive the North Vietnamese out of Cambodia. The secret war lasted for 14 months. After that, Prince Sihanouk, the Cambodian leader, was deposed by Prime Minister Lon Nol. Sihanouk then made an alliance with his former enemy, the Khmer Rouge, in the misplaced hope of bringing peace to Cambodia and regaining the control of the country. In support of the Lon Nol government, Nixon announced the official invasion of Cambodia on April 30th, 1970.
I have concluded that the time has come for action.
After Nixon's announcement, millions of additional bombs were dropped throughout the country, further disenchanting Cambodians from the west. Despite the bombings, the Khmer Rouge had grown from an insignificant underground organization to effectively controlling the majority of Cambodia. Many of their new recruits were peasants who thought they were fighting for the reinstatement of the prince, and who knew nothing of communism or of the Khmer Rouge plans. Despite the bombings, the Lon Nol government lost strength, and Lon Nol himself fled the country. Finally, on April 17, 1975, the Khmer Rouge captured Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia. This was to be the start of Year Zero. As Cambodian citizens were celebrating the end of war and the promise of a fresh start, the Khmer Rouge took control of the city and forced innocent people out of their homes and into countryside camps, where physical abuse, disease, exhaustion, and starvation were extremely prevalent.
They said, leave, because the Americans bombed Cambodia. They said that only 3 days you come back, so don't take anything with you. Thousands of people on highway, whatever we can take with us.
Cambodian citizens who were suspected to have a high education and were thought to be against the regime were taken to one of the many prisons in Cambodia. The most notorious one was Tor Sleng, also known as S21. The S21 prison was one of the most brutal and harshest prisons during the genocide.
My mother fell down on the floor. She gave blood out from her nose and mouth. I just saw a few men in the room, sleep on the bed. They just killed, cut the throat, had many blood on the floor.
Electric shock, nhọt khách bức cái ngày mà kháng nhưng thơ ọt cao tề.
Over 1 million people were taken to various killing fields throughout the country to be executed and thrown into mass pits.
We worked day and night, from the morning like 5 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night, and many times with no food.
Buildings such as schools and government properties were turned into prisons, stables, and death camps. The Khmer Rouge's treatment of the Cambodian people was becoming more and more brutal.
anh cắt từng biết nhiều mà ọt miếng nữa chứ bay nhẹ tới chèn nhẹ bay nhẹ khối bay nhẹ trong đau nó cái nhàประมาณ nhẹ nó đập nhẹ nó tới ngược vào chứ.
People were forced to further compromise in order to survive. They were forced to kill and steal to save themselves. Family relationships were torn apart, and the Khmer Rouge insisted that everyone consider Angkor as their mother and father.
No, the Khmer Rouge, they were using a lot of kids, like thousands of kids like myself, who were not real Khmer Rouge, but to carry the guns and to use as a decoy, because they were trying to save their own soldiers.
Children were taught self-defense, how to handle a weapon, and how to plant a landmine. Countries in the Western world were reluctant to intervene or were unaware of the genocide in Cambodia. It wasn't until December 25th, 1978, that Vietnam launched a major invasion of Cambodia to try and stop the Khmer Rouge's actions. On January 7th, 1979, the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot were overthrown by the Vietnamese. Pol Pot was never put on trial, and he never faced real consequences for the genocide in Cambodia, for which he was responsible. Within the last decade, in order to compromise with the past, other leaders of the Khmer Rouge have been tried by the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia. Comrade Dutch, the commander in charge of the S-21 prison, Tuol Sleng, was the first Khmer Rouge leader to be tried and convicted by the ECCC for crimes against humanity, murder, and torture during the Khmer Rouge rule of Cambodia. He is now serving a life imprisonment. People had no choice but to make huge compromises to adapt their new way of life, both during and after the war. The amount of destruction caused by the Khmer Rouge has contributed to huge amounts of poverty within Cambodia today, as many people are unable to find jobs or homes in the country. Rebuilding the country after the genocide was extremely difficult, as a quarter of the population had died. Many people are still forced to make compromises today. Families who were separated have still not reunited. The country is currently laden with landmines, which has caused many deaths and physical injuries.
That I stepped on the landmine, I don't know myself, step on it. I just heard explode, boom. I think, oh, where is the landmine explode? Look myself, and then I saw the blood, and my t-shirt is burned, and my hair also is burned.
The issues regarding the Cambodian genocide are being taught in schools worldwide. Some Cambodians are actively informing others about what happened through their own writing, films, and public speeches. The places where the killings and torture took place are now open to the public to educate people firsthand about the horrors that took place there. This includes S-21, the most brutal prison of the genocide. The Cambodian genocide occurred almost 40 years ago because of Pol Pot's refusal to compromise his extreme beliefs. What happened will be etched in history books, and people will bear the physical and emotional scars forever. 20% of the population was killed, and the country became a land of orphans. Through hard work, positivity, belief, and ultimately extreme compromise, Cambodian people are putting back into the country what Pol Pot's regime tried to eliminate.
They lose a hand, they lose eye, they lose a leg like me. What happened to them? They still think for work, and then can sell and can support myself and my family and my friend.
I think saving the arts is saving our identity and saving our dignity, saving our soul, because the art is the roof of our soul.
They are now reviving businesses, education, the arts, and the music. And in doing so, they are rekindling Cambodia's soul and encouraging the heart of Cambodia to beat strongly once again.